The following program is rated U for universal audiences and is considered suitable for listeners of all ages.
This is a presentation of Dream Realm Enterprises, where dreams are our reality.
Previously on Magic, Monsters, and Mayhem.
What do you say, Rast? Would you consider leaving the thrilling world of messaging behind to come and work for little me?
Well, what an opportunity. I certainly have the experience, having worked for Lord Terrible back in Baronhurst.
Sounds like Lilly has a secret.
Unfortunately, I have a few.
Just a moment. Did you say Waldo? Forgive me, but you couldn't possibly mean old Waldo Riddendorf, could you?
You know my Uncle Waldo?
Indeed I do. A mage of some little standing. Why, not more than a few months back we sought Freaky Fudge together. Oh, now that was quite an adventure, and provided many laughs. Oh my, to think I'd be helping Waldo Riddendorf's young niece on her own quest. The fates work in amazingly mysterious ways, do they not?
And now we continue our story.
Stay low, my friend, and quiet. If the stag hears you or catches wind of you, it'll run.
Oh, don't you worry. I'll have him this time.
There he is. Take the shot and he's yours.
In my own time.
Oh, what a good shot! You got him, Gwen!
There was never any doubt.
You're getting good at this. Come, let's claim your prize.
Yes, and take it back to Lady Denora and see what she can make of it.
There is no finer cook in the camp. She'll make a fine stew out of that meat, I'll wager.
I wonder what Lady Denora could make of the two of you.
Who the devil is that?
Relax, my friend. I know this woman. Her name is Darkstar.
Interesting name. Fascinating girl.
You want to rephrase that, Golden Locks?
You must forgive Darkstar. She's rather sensitive in nature.
I apologize. No offense was intended, lady.
Lady! Your new friend here has a lot to learn, Templeton. You better teach him well. Next time he calls me lady or girl, I'm likely to turn him into one.
I'll see to it that he's tutored in the correct way to speak to Darkstar. In the meantime, I'll assume you have some information to sell. So, why not join us for supper?
I thought you'd never ask.
You are listening to Magic, Monsters, and Mayhem, Book 3, Chapter 7, Seeking Answers, written by Jonathan Patrick Rosa.
So, you're off again, Rosa.
Oh, hello, Selena. Come to see me off, have you?
Not as such. I've come once more to appeal to your sense of honor and loyalty, assuming you have such things.
Look, Selena, I haven't got time to argue with you, nor have I the energy. You may not understand or approve of my way of life, but my hope is that, at least someday, you'll come to accept it. However, I won't ask your forgiveness for who I am, because I'm not about to apologize for that. Either accept me for who I am and what I am, or just forget about me.
And you see that as an acceptable alternative.
Look, Selena, I honestly don't know what you expect me to say. Obviously, I know what you expect me to do. You want me to remain here. But I can't do that. I can't be the person you want me to be. Things just don't work that way.
Then tell me, dear sister, how do they work?
Selena, you can't just bend people to your will. Everyone has their own mind, their own personality.
Is that all it is?
What else is there to it?
In case it has slipped your memory, you are a daughter of a king. And with that brings certain responsibilities, certain expectations.
And that's really what it's all about right there. My sister. Expectations, specifically yours.
And those of our father, little sister.
Really? Are you sure about that? Because our father has never made me feel as if I was a disappointment to him. Nor has he voiced an expectation that I should remain here and simply do my duty as a Unani princess.
As if he would. As if he had to. He is the king. What else could you expect him to desire of his daughters?
I was not aware that you spoke for me, Selena Dernhelm. Nay, I thought as king, I quite naturally spoke for myself. Do I find that I've been mistaken all this time?
Father, I do apologize. I was simply making a point.
Oh, I know what you're doing, Selena dear. And I know what point you're trying to make to your younger sister here. But if it wouldn't be out of bounds, I'd very much like to speak for myself in these matters.
Yes, of course, Father. I meant no disrespect.
Of that I am aware. And yet somehow, that's exactly what you're doing. Disrespecting me. Disrespecting the wishes of your sister. It must stop, Selena.
But, Father...
No. You must listen to me. I've done my best for you girls, since your mother passed into the veil all those years ago. And perhaps I need to be both father and mother. However, in that effort, I have failed.
Oh, Father. No.
Selena's right, Father. You have never failed us.
Oh, I think I have. Because I have allowed this feud to go on between you two for far too long. And perhaps I have failed to make my feelings on all of this quite clear. Selena, I have never asked more of either of my daughters than they were willing to give. Not to me, not to the crown. And as the youngest Rosa dear, I have always, I must admit, been a little, shall we say, easier on you. Only because you never had the benefit of having a mother. At least you, Selena, my dear, had a few years to know your mother and be influenced by her. Oh, what a wonderful woman she was. A fine elf queen, yes, but the gentlest of women. She would not approve of this rift between her daughters.
What would you have me do, Father?
Forgive your sister. Accept that she is who she is, and that she has her own place on the path, as we all do. Even as king, I cannot and will not force either of my daughters to veer from their unique place on the path. Free will is what makes us what we are. It's what raises us above the mindless, basest creatures in the world. If Rosa wishes to see the world, seek adventure, court excitement, then who are we to deny her that right? She may be a princess of the Hunani tribe, but she is also an individual, and one I am very proud of.
Thank you, Father.
But what if she goes away and we never see her again?
Do you truly believe that will be the case, dear Selena? Do you truly believe that in your heart? I don't. Have faith as I do that Rosa is a capable woman who will survive whatever challenges the path throws her way, and that someday she will indeed come home to us once again.
What do you say, Selena? Can you forgive your little sister for being who she is? And most important of all, can you allow her to be who she is and respect her for it?
You're speaking of yourself in the third person. I've always hated that. Oh, very well. I forgive you. And of course I respect you. Perhaps I've been too hard on you all these years.
At least you can admit that. Come here, big sister. Give me a hug. For I must be off. The others are waiting. I promise I will return.
You'd better, little sister.
I've no doubt that you will return to us one day, Rosa, my dear. You have your mother's adventurous spirit and her independent nature.
I never knew Mother had an adventurous streak.
Oh, she did. So much so, I know I don't talk about her much. I never have since her death. Perhaps I was mistaken in that. Rosa is very like her. Headstrong, independent, and adventurous. Oh, your mother had her own ideas. And she too was never satisfied with boring stately duties in royal Hunani tradition. But she chose to set all that aside. For me.
I wish I'd known this long ago.
As do I, Father.
And you both should have. It's my fault. But perhaps I can change all that now. Perhaps I can tell you both much. And I'm willing to do so. It will give you incentive to return to us sooner rather than later, eh, Rosa?
Indeed it will, Father.
Fare thee well on the path, dear Rosa, and may it return you hence most hastily.
I'll return here as soon as I can, Father. Selena, I promise it to you both.
Where are we? And why did you let me sleep so long, Lily Fairheart?
We're in Blondo's wagon heading to the next settlement. We carried and lifted you into the wagon. You were pretty out of it. And you honestly looked as if you needed the rest, Divine. After all, you did breathe in a lot of smoke from the fire.
Speaking of the fire, did everyone get out okay? I'm sorry to say it's all a blur.
Everyone is safe. I just feel sorry for poor Bryce Fontaine.
What happened? Is he okay?
Yes. He just lost everything in that fire. And honestly, it's all my fault.
How can you blame yourself, Lily?
Because you know how it started.
You do?
Yes. It was Detlord. He started the fire to motivate me to keep moving. To keep searching for the wand of Taldek.
Then he's a fire wraith.
So it would seem.
Oh, Lily. What have you gotten us into?
A lot more than I ever bargained for, Divine. I'm so very sorry.
Well, it's okay. It doesn't change the fact that I'm still glad I came along. If I hadn't, who knows? You could have ended up dead by now.
It's very true. I'm so very grateful.
That's what friends are for, Lil.
This looks like a fine place to camp for the night.
We're stopping already?
Sounds like a plan to me. I'm ready to get off this horse's back. My backside won't take much more riding.
You need more exercise, wizard.
And what good would it do?
Maybe you'll live longer and complain less.
Honestly, with all this starting and stopping again, it's a wonder we ever get anywhere.
It's necessary, Zoe. Trust me.
Well, I don't get it.
Rosa's right, Zoe. Now and again we must stop and rest the horses. Otherwise we could overwork them. And that would be bad.
I suppose you're right, Fitz. I'm sorry. I didn't think of it like that.
It's alright. No need to apologize. But you should really trust in Rosa. She's a good leader. She knows what she's doing.
I suppose so. I'll try to think better of her.
Maybe you'll think better of all of us, eh?
Yes, I will. I mean, I do. I think highly of you. Well, everyone. Well, most everyone.
I've seen the looks you've been giving Nyx. I know he deceived us all, but try and give him the benefit of the doubt. I have a good feeling about him.
Well then, if you have a good feeling, then so do I.
You're very generous, Zoe. I should see how he's holding up. Excuse me.
You seem to have developed a fondness for that young man, Zoe Underhill.
Mind your own business, Grandpa.
Seems you hit the lass a little close to the mark, eh, Riddendorf?
She's just far too prickly, that one.
How are you holding up, Nyx?
Quite well, Mr. Red Hawk.
Please, as I've said, it's just Fitz.
I can't thank you enough for your kindness, Fitz. If not for you, I suspect I would no longer be with this company. In fact, I'm not sure my head would still be attached to the rest of my body. Especially considering some of the looks I've gotten since we left the Elf Kingdom.
Oh, give everybody time, Nix. The moment will come when you have an opportunity to prove yourself, and when you do, they'll accept you. Trust me.
You have a fine positive attitude, Fitz, and a very welcoming nature. For that I thank you.
I've just learned to trust my instincts, and they tell me you will be an asset to this group. Beyond that, I always try to look on the positive side of things. I mean, what's the point of looking at things from a darker aspect?
Not everyone is so generous. Nor do many folk have such a positive attitude towards life.
Then I pity them. For those who walk in darkness have darkness as a friend.
You are most wise, Fitz Redhawk.
I don't know about that. I just try to walk the light path. Please, excuse me, I'd like to have a word or two with Rosa.
Of course, my friend.
Do you think we'll arrive at our destination by the end of the day tomorrow?
Oh, I believe we can make it. The Hinton region is where we're bound, and at a good pace, one can get there within a couple of days' ride. While the party is a bit slow at times, I think we may make it to Hinton and the Wayfair ruins tomorrow before sundown with ease.
Glad to hear it.
Oh, hello, Fitz. I didn't hear you approach.
If you two will excuse me, I think I'll go and gather some firewood for the night. It shall get cold in these parts after the sun goes down.
Of course, Faust. Thank you.
Don't mention it.
Oh, another fine meal, Denora, my love.
Yes, what you've managed to do with that stag is incredible. I mean, love the stew.
Our Brett Gwaine here is quite the way with words, eh?
Yes, he does. And I thank you for the compliments, Mr. Gawain. You've been very complimentary of my cooking since you arrived here.
Well, when all you've had for months is the scrappings of a dwarf's cooking... that is to say, your cooking reminds me of home. I do beg your pardon, Lady Denora.
My pardon is given, Mr. Gawain. Now eat up. There's plenty more where that came from.
Well, this is a very pleasant gathering, and yes, my dear, you've again done wonders with the stew. But I think we have some important matters to discuss, have we not, Darkstar?
Well, I didn't just come here to eat. Though the meal is hearty and welcome, Lady Denora.
I'm happy you like it.
Very much so.
You have information to sell, have you not, Darkstar?
Yes, and it's quite valuable information to those who seek it.
Our coffers are far from full, but I think we can manage to double what we paid you for the last bit of information you brought us.
I hate to sound greedy, but the information I have is very valuable indeed. So I think that sum falls more than a bit short of its worth.
Oh, I'm intrigued. I can offer a little more than I have already done so. But may we hear this information so that I may assess its true value?
You will value the information I have this time higher than any I've given you thus far. You'll owe me a hefty fee. But I think you're good for it, Dak. So I'll tell you.
Well, don't keep us in suspense.
It may interest you to know that Emperor Hamilton Layton will be visiting Terce within the next few days on official business.
The Emperor is coming here?
This is the news we've waited for, Lord Faron.
Does the timing matter?
Exactly, Lord. What does it matter of the timing? We shall have his head the moment he steps within the walls of Terce.
Well, let's not be too hasty, my friends. Darkstar, how certain are you of this information?
It's ironclad. You see, there's been a major event in Terce that has attracted the attention of the Imperial Court.
What could happen in Terce that could possibly shine the Emperor's gaze in this direction?
I beg your pardon, Lady Faron, but the death of 6 men on the Council of Mages is a big enough event to clang quite a few alarm bells at court.
Wait, someone has attacked the Council?
The deaths were reportedly accidental, but such a major event requires an official investigation. Considering the power these men held, it has bent the Emperor's gaze this way. I mean, it would, wouldn't it? Such a major shift in the command hierarchy in these parts. Well, that's no small matter.
She's right, Lord. This is big.
Aye, then dark things are afoot. We must be cautious.
Well, you do what you like with the information. But I still expect to be paid. Highly paid. Even if it must be in segments.
We'll discuss the exact amount in private, but you'll get your money, Darkstar, never fear.
Fear isn't a word in my vocabulary.
Then you're an impressive woman indeed.
Well, thank you, Golden Locks. I can't tell you how much that means coming from you.
I'd quit while I was ahead, Mr. Gawain. Darkstar doesn't really take to compliments.
It's true, Gwen. I've seen her cut a man's tongue out for saying less. Darkstar is no woman to be trifled with.
And I'll likely cut your eyes out if you keep looking at me the way you have this evening, Golden Locks.
Point taken. I was getting quite tired anyway. So if you'll excuse me, Lord and Lady Faron, I do believe I'll call it a night.
A very wise choice, Mr. Gawain.
Yes. Well then, I bid you good night.
So, how do we proceed, Lord Faron?
It will require much thought, George, and some amount of counsel. We shall discuss it tomorrow. Yes, after a good night's sleep, the way forward may become clearer. But tonight all I see are clouds and haze, and those represent a veil of uncertainty.
Why have we stopped?
There seems to be some fellow sitting in the road ahead.
That's very strange. We should be careful, Blondo.
Heading for trouble. I just knows it.
Well, if there's trouble, I'll handle it.
I'll ease us forward a bit so we can get a gander at this person. Hello there! I wonder, can you move out of the road so that we may pass?
Why should you want to pass when you found just what you're looking for? Eh, little halfling?
What does he mean, Blondo?
Search me.
I don't like it.
There are many things we find on the path that are not to our liking. However, that does not mean that they are not to our benefit.
What the devil is going on?
That's what we'd all like to know, Divine.
You seek hero, do you not, Lilly Fairheart?
How can you know my name?
A seer sees.
You have been listening to Magic Monsters of Mayhem, Book 3, The Journey Continues, Chapter 7, Seeking Answers, written by Jonathan Patrick Russell, which starred in order of appearance Paul R. Beasy as George Templeton, Pete Lutz as Brett Gawain, Sally Wiggett as Darkstar, Rachel Rumler as Selena, Deborah Adams as Rosa, Glenn Haskell as King Arion, Shannon Lowry as Divine, Tanya Milojevic as Lilly, Ellie Hirschman as Faust, Rebecca Thomas as Zoe, Jeff Niles as Waldo, Dave Weaver as Greybeard, Persephone Rose as Fitz, Gareth Severn as Nix, Abner Sonares as Dak, Lisa Mijaud as Denora, Wayne Hayward as Blondo, Gwendolyn Jensen Woodard as Fiona, Jonathan Patrick Russell as Plop, and Alan Wayman as Harrow. Magic Monsters of Mayhem opening theme tune was composed and performed by Sarah Finn. The closing theme tune and the incidental music was provided by Kevin MacLeod. The production assistant was Rachel Rumler. The post-production editor was Jeff Niles. The series creator, sound designer, script editor, producer, and director was Jonathan Patrick Russell. The copyright for Magic Monsters of Mayhem is held by Dream Realm Enterprises. Any rebroadcast or reproduction of this program without the express written permission of Dream Realm Enterprises is strictly prohibited. Thank you for listening. We invite you to visit us on the web at dreamrealmsite.com. If you'd like to email us with any of your comments or questions, you may do so at darkbuilding1@yahoo.com. Please use the subject header MMM feedback. Our story will continue in Chapter 8, coming your way next time. Please join us then.
This program is copyright 2019, all rights reserved, and is brought to you by Dream Realm Enterprises. The journey continues.